Stupid mute button. Hello there, everyone in internet land. Welcome to Telling Tales. It is Thursday night and it's time for another session of Wicked Ones. But before we get to the Wicked Ones, let me do a bit of introduction to who we are at Telling Tales. So we stream various fantastical, sci-fi, dark, I already said the word fantastical. They're very fantastical. Roleplay, tabletop roleplay games on Twitch here and put them out on YouTube afterwards. There is currently this going on Thursdays, intermittent Thursdays. Might be something else coming on Thursdays as well. We've had a bit of a shift around with our Monday slot at the moment. So it was me running Warhammer Weekly. Now it's every other week. And we're hoping to be starting We Deal in Lead, which is run by Jack, which is going to be good, on the other session on Mondays. And Wednesdays is Matt running Blade Runner, which I believe is on session 5 or something now, which should be good. So check that out. Also, we are doing a Kickstarter at the moment for a Troika zine, which should be fun. So if you want to check out a cool setting with some background and some interesting stuff called The Soft, literally all about softness in a kind of really nice, pleasant, totally not really unsettling, horrifying, everything is turning soft, including maybe your brain sort of way. So yeah, go check that out if you want. I think there's probably links to it below or somewhere else. Go find links for it on the internet. I can't give you links. I'm just talking to you. You have to go find them. And we're also doing a one shot this weekend on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday 3 p.m. GMT. So that is going to be of that kind of setting we've built for the zine. So check it out. Come join us. See if it's something that would interest you, because I believe the Kickstarter is running until just after the session. Yeah, I think that's all us, other than please check out below for all of our other links for Twitch and Twitch is already here probably, Discord and Patreon and other social medias and the like. Thank you very much for support from patrons. So I think that's us good. Wicked Ones is a kind of dark play the baddie sort of game where the group are playing the Wicked Ones, creatures who have arrived in this peaceful, safe, lovely. It wasn't really any of those things because we created a kind of sort of messed up world. And also, it's not meant to be great. A world of light and dark, but a balanced world, which the players have come to absolutely make a mess of. So they've created a little dungeon. They've been initiating all sorts of horrible plots to mess up this world. And they've had to defend their dungeon occasionally as well. So it's a bit of a dungeon keepery sort of thing, collaborative builder. Anyway, and a bit of warning, dark, horrible things may happen in this because they're playing awful creatures and they currently have a captive who they weren't very nice to last session, it's safe to say. So let's bring on John to introduce what's been going on. And how you doing, John?
I'm doing all right. No, not that one. That one.
And what's been going on in the story so far, and particularly last chaotic session?
So far has been a bit of a roundabout thing. We have a general plan to corrupt the valley, but it's so far centered around us destroying a vampire who tried to get us to bend the knee to them, and there's stealing a boat and then stealing an umbrella stand that is definitely not magical in any way.
From a wizard's tower.
Which is now in, yeah. And then we decided to attack the Baroness's inn, and and ended up sort of accidentally kidnapping her daughter, and also converting her priest to a priest of Bepo's specific
Malawa,
chaotic
little the goddess of truth and secrets.
Yes.
Or secrets and truth.
So last session it started with us throwing the hostage down a pit, because that's the closest thing we had to a prison, and then building the prison around her, pretty much.
She didn't escape, which you were lucky for.
She didn't escape. Bepo finished enchanting the umbrella stand and making it not at all magical in any way.
I'm going to attempt the name now because it's too funny not to try. Galbataroxyginix. That's what it's called.
Probably. It's who knows the true pronunciation of such a mysterious word.
I'm pretty sure Chris doesn't.
Other than that, I think it was general housekeeping around the dungeon, and then got our body snatcher to interrogate our captive as the only person in the dungeon at that moment in time who could actually speak the same language. It went somewhat terribly. Didn't know anything for us to interrogate, and also our interrogator had no idea what he was interrogating for. But we successfully managed to convince her that we were Rivertown doing it, at least.
Sort of, at least, I think.
Sort of. That she doesn't know who else would be doing it.
I think she was kind of brain twisted into believing it rather than he really convinced her very well.
Yes.
I'm
not giving him too much credit.
No, I don't think he deserves a lot of credit.
And then we finished with trying to figure out what we were doing next, which sort of turned into a plan to attack Rivertown in some way, make it look like the barony did it, and then go to Rivertown and try and sell our captive.
It's a very convoluted plan that I'm not quite sure I understand, but I think that was the gist of it. There was also some boat stealing perhaps in there.
We attacked the Rivertown trading boats and make it look like the barony did it.
Yeah, good stuff.
There were a lot of gaps and big question marks and steps missing and a lot of arrows leading from one phase to the other.
So if we jump right into it, it's going to be flawless, basically.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
I think that was more or less the long and the short of it. The only other thing I can think of is I think you started a minion lair in the dungeon as well, but that's only a wee thing. I don't even think that was finished. Oh no, maybe it did get finished. I think the if I remember correctly, the imps might have finished that off with a dice roll. That's about us. Who is Slee as well, John? While you're at it,
Slee is a Slisek shadow, so they are a snake person rogue. They have a fondness for eating, specifically eating meat. Has no compunctions about eating man meat because they are not a man, so it's fine. That's about the long and short of Slee. They don't have a very complex character.
No, they're quite
like sneaking and eating.
Yeah, and they're pretty good at sneaking and eating, I'd say. Certainly eating, and often sneaking. Cool, thank you very much, John. Let's bring on Chris then and introduce Beepo. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, not bad. It's a soft G, by the way. It's Galbatroxygenix.
Of course, Ginix. Not Ginix. I'll remember that. I probably won't.
You will not. Don't lie to my face.
Well, next time it'll be a hard G, won't it?
Yes.
Why is there one hard G and one soft G?
Because it's an English word, John.
That's actually a good answer. Yeah, okay.
Who's Beepo, Chris?
Beepo is your unfriendly, unhinged force of nature. It's 50% mascot energy, 50% dangerous occult energy, 50% violence, ankle biter / cosmic power harnessing kobold. Maybe about 3 foot tall, but 7 foot of pure anger. Beepo is on some form of mission and has recently achieved the major goal of Galbatroxygenix, an enchanted umbrella stand, which does things that will hopefully.
You're absolutely telling me this was part of Beepo's master plan, specifically this umbrella stand.
Everything is part of Beepo's master plan.
I forgot even Beepo doesn't know Beepo's master plan.
Yes, exactly.
I forgot to say,
even if Beepo doesn't know.
the umbrella stand was then implemented as a trap in the dungeon.
It was.
We put it by the front door. It actually has an enchantment on it, so half the people who see it think it's normal umbrella stand, and half the people think it's a thing of divine magic.
Yeah.
Just like it always has been. And it's there to cause arguments with people, basically.
Yeah.
To do
Very
exactly
effective.
what it did to us.
Very effective if there's more than one person, certainly. Cool. Okay, let's bring on Sam then, our final player. Sadly for tonight. Hey Sam, who is Osric?
Osric is a demon warlock, mostly a necromancer, although he now dabbles a bit more in enchantment as well, which has been fun, but is attempting to be the world's most powerful sorcerer and is actually like very mediocre. And like sometimes good, but sometimes very, very, very bad. Yeah.
No, absolutely great all the time, right? Everyone knows that.
When he's not great, he'll make you think he was great. That's
Uh-huh.
the Osric motto. He's doing his best. Yeah. Trying his hardest.
That's fair. That's fair. And yeah, as mentioned, sadly Steve can't join us tonight. So we've kind of agreed, because we're probably doing bits of raid this session, that we'll kind of share the characters. We'll share bits and bobs of Steve's stuff between everyone else. And there is the character sheet, perfectly on time. Why is it crashing my computer? Oh, it's decided to open there. Okay, fine. It's just opened a new tab, which wasn't very helpful. Anyway, I know it's nothing to do with the session, but I just have to complain to people watching. Why? Just someone explain to me why episode 10 has 34 views on YouTube and episode 11 has 85 views on YouTube. Explain to me what you're doing, people. Like, we don't have that much discrepancy in views on Twitch. Why are you all watching episode 11? What? Was it really good that you wanted to watch it over and over and over? I don't understand. Anyway.
Is it that people skipped episode 10 from episode 9 to episode 11?
Because episode 9 has less views than 11.
People just started at 11.
We're in the process of going viral. Let's all enjoy.
Episode 8 has the same number of views. Episode 7 has a few more. So it's like everyone started on episode 11.
Just what happened in episode 11?
That was the last episode. That was the one where you were just in the dungeon doing not particularly. I mean, it was kind of interesting, but it wasn't like it was. It wasn't
doubt
like
the power of
Galbatorgeronics.
Half the people heard about the umbrella stand and couldn't stop watching the episode.
They just had to come and see it. Yeah. And the other half were like, "What are you doing?"
I think what this means is our audience are pining for a cozy, collaborative dungeon builder game.
I think it does. I think it must do. It's just driving me mad. Like when we had the old Warhammer series, we had a bit of discrepancy, like 10 or so ahead, whatever. But that's like 40. What? It's more than 40. It's nearly 50. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna stop being mad at our audience. That's probably not a good idea.
Stop being mad at our audience for watching our show.
Watching more. Why can't they just stop at the beginning though?
You better not watch this episode, guys. If you're watching, turn this off right now.
This episode had hundreds of views in the last one.
Don't comment, or subscribe.
And whatever you do, don't tell your friends.
They're just
or
going to
enemies.
To annoy me, aren't they? Just going to watch the last episode only. Anyway, let's go back to my notes.
Emergency backup friends now. That's
getting slightly off topic here. Cool. Can we bring up the map so we can see a bit of what's going on? Because there were a few world turns, interesting roles that have been going on. So first of all, Riverton have completed 2 clocks, one which is entirely secret, and the other one, because we had agreed we wanted to be secret, and the other one is they have managed to complete their clock of get rid of the rock bandits. So they've been sending out sorties to that area to manage to kick them out. Now, it doesn't mean they've killed them. I think maybe this is while they were away fighting with the Baroness or something like that, actually, and they got scrubbed out. So basically, they've got nowhere to hide at that junction anymore. So I think in my head, they've probably moved up to the cliff face or somewhere else. But they're less of a factor in influencing trade and other things now because Riverton have successfully dealt with them. The Weiraccoons are raiding the Northern Brewery as we speak. That is going on during this session. They are initiating a great raid against the Northern Brewery. And I might roll to see how that goes. That's fun. But they're doing it right now.
But we were going to do that maybe eventually.
Maybe you can follow up. Should have done it earlier if you wanted to, or found out what the Weiraccoons were doing. You could have gone together. And now the gnome racketeers, because these racketeers are all on their wheeling their way into all of everyone's pockets. Witches have loads of pockets. That makes sense. They've now officially made friends, or in the process of making friends with the witches, the wild witches in the wood, as well. These sneaky gnomes. But I guess you're kind of friends with them, so that's not too bad for you. And finally, the most charming news of all is Animal Farm, the farm of uplifted. It's not really a farm; it's like an old rundown tavern. The building of old farm animals that were like uplifted in experiments by the wild witches and can now speak and kind of have human brain abilities, but are just farm animals. They have officially opened their tavern, which isn't just the most charming thing. I don't know if anyone's going to go, but they have opened their tavern. So there's like, pigs at the counter and maybe like a llama serving drinks and stuff going on in there. Probably
A llama?
Yeah, it's a llama. What is a llama? You can get llamas in farms occasionally.
You can, but not usually in fantastical fantasy land.
Well, but the witches want to find and uplift interesting animals. They don't just want to do like chickens. That's boring. There probably are some chickens there. But...
We should go and raid it.
Just wipe it off the map.
We're wicked ones. We don't like that kind of thing. That sounds too nice. Right. We don't want
nice.
They
are. It is like charming and nice, and they're actually like do-gooders who just want to make people happy. So you probably should kill them all.
Or we could go in and corrupt them and turn them to our purposes. They could serve the booze that we're gonna maybe do something about at some point.
They could. You still haven't really got around to plotting that part yet.
Yeah. We got distracted.
You got distracted by this unbelievably complicated false flag operation you're now trying to initiate. Oh gosh. Okay, I think that's all of the stuff that's going on in the world. Might not play with much of it, but it's interesting to know. But we might keep the map up because now we're basically in the middle of plotting. For those who don't know, the red spot on the map there is the dungeon underneath those ruins. We're kind of now plotting the raid, basically. So I'm going to go over really briefly the perception I had of it, which was kind of went over it with you there, John. But basically, you're planning on raiding a load of boats, somehow persuading Riverton that you're raiding their traders and you are the Baroness, like soldiers of the Baroness or something, or in some way representing the barony of the woods. In the process, making Riverton more hostile against the barony. And then you are going to somehow suggest that you've rescued this. Oh, no, wait. Are you going to try and get her imprisoned in Riverton first? Or are you going to just get her out of Riverton and pretend she was imprisoned in Riverton? What was the plan with the captive?
I think the plan was to rile up Rivertown and then to go to Rivertown and be like, hello, we're on your side and we've kidnapped the Baroness's daughter. Would you like to use her as some sort of a hostage?
That makes sense. Okay, good.
Does it?
I mean, no, I'm not saying it's a good plan. I'm saying that there is a plan.
Because our idea is that hopefully the Baroness already thinks Riverton has her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we want Riverton to actually have her daughter, and then hopefully that will confirm to the Baroness that Rivertown like invaded and ransacked the barony, and it makes a big fight.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
This could all completely be cleaned up with like a 5-minute conversation between the two warring factions, which we know from all kinds of media will never happen.
You just gotta hope they're basically like every other people ever. Okay, so that sounds more or less like a vague plan. So there's a few elements to this. There's some attacks on the boats. Then there's going to Riverton and persuading them that you are doing the thing that they want and you're going to sell or ransom this prisoner to them. I guess that's kind of it. And then maybe going to the barony and telling them that... Are you going to go to the barony as well to really stir things up? Is there going to be a third phase to this?
I feel like we kind of have to wait until we finish those first 2 steps and then see if we get distracted by anything else.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm happy with that.
Well, so, systemically, once the ransom is complete, we go up our level, and that's kind of the short-term goal, isn't it?
True. You're hoping Riverton will pay the ransom, and that will get you your financial goals. That was the kind of direction to go in. Okay, so I think this is So you've got ambush, assault, negotiation, stealth, strike, or trickery. This is either negotiation, stealth, or trickery, I'd say. You could argue it's bits of both.
I think there's definitely
Kind
going
of.
to be trickery and negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of erring on the side of negotiation just because we haven't used it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if this part of the plan is going to be attacking boats,
Well,
then
the
it's
the
not really.
the fulcrum of the plan is exchanging the prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking
Yeah.
the boats is the dressing for the plan.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to. We'll go for negotiation. Totally. I'm happy with that. So, it is a maybe the next night after you've had these conversations and made your plans. You are heading towards the river, which has been much busy with trade ever since Riverton and the Gnomes did a deal to basically remove part of the minefield that they put across the river to prevent Riverton's boats actually trading along it. So the river has been absolutely bustling since then. It's maybe like, you're deliberately coming at a time when boats are still on the water, so it's not like 3 a.m. or something. It's maybe like 7 p.m. now. The sun's just about setting, and you can see there's quite a lot of boats. There's barges and that sort of thing going up the river. Some just with big logs on them. Some look like they might have better price, and like fish and things. With some look like they might have better prizes on them. Maybe there's some, barrels of beer or wine on some of them and things like that. The one caveat is they're not super obvious. If they're all Riverton boats, some might be from the Wizard's Tower, some might be from other places. The Gnomes definitely have some boats, and you can see gnomes on some of the boats. Unfortunately for you, it's not always boats of humans and boats of gnomes. It's kind of sometimes a bit more complicated than that. So I think the first challenge is going to be making sure whatever targeting boat you pick is definitely Riverton, or maybe a few boats. I don't know what your thoughts are here, but feel free to have a think and a plan of action to that scene if you want.
I have my friend, who is my vile friend, who is a gnome trader, and I have a stock of gold. So, could I spend a gold to get my vile friend and his gnomey friends to maybe help us out on this? Mostly on the grounds that war is very good for business as traders.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They would agree that war between the barony and Riverton is theoretically good business. I could see that being logical. Yeah. I think they will. What sort of help are you asking for? Them to just give you advice, them to come and aid in the raid somehow. They're not going to literally attack a boat, but they might come and assist you planning something.
I think if we could have assistance.
Do you have an idea? You look eager.
I have a great idea. I think I have a great idea.
Okay, you go for. I've got an idea, but you seem like you've got a very exciting idea.
I don't think it's exciting, but I think it's super pragmatic. I think we just ask them to be witnesses. We pay for dubious
I see.
verification that it was in fact the Baroness and their troops who were making these attacks.
I like it. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So they could be effectively in another boat passing by, and they'd be like, "We saw X, Y, Z."
Yeah, and those were definitely barony tunics and not sheets with crayon on them.
Yeah, which is what you're wearing right now.
Probably, yes. And also if they could, point out a good target.
I love the idea of them saying they longer. And then you attack them, they're like, "Oh no, the barony!
no.
What are they doing?" Oh gosh. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, I am going to make a little roll. No, you should make a roll because it's not a game in which I roll for the things that you've done. So this is going to be banter, or is it actually banter? What is it? No, scan, check, banter. Yeah. banter or trick. I know you're not exactly tricking them, but it's kind of a tricky thing to do, so it's all part of the trick.
I'm just gonna double check. When do shocks get undone?
You should have had your shock undone from the
Cool.
downtime,
Yes.
unless it's from since then.
In that case, I'm gonna go for trick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm convincing them to join the trick.
To clarify, unless you do, like, even if you fail, you'll get something. It's just goodness of something because you've spent the gold.
Well, highest is a 4.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's good. So they will point out what looks like a. You see it coming. You can just see it coming in the darkness. They've got torches on, so you know they can't see you, but you can see them. It's like quite a large longboat that looks like it's absolutely laden down with barrels of maybe wine or something, going upriver towards Riverton, being kind of poled along. So it's going pretty slow. And there's a few torches on. There's definitely a couple of guards on the boat. They do, for what it's worth, look like Riverton guards. Now you look at it for a second and you're kind of thinking about it. Yeah, that looks like a good target. You've got at least 10, 15 minutes, to be honest, before it's well past you. So you've got a decent amount of time to make a move on this boat.
Nice.
So I think I have my kobolds with me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they are... I'm going to preemptively spend a stress for a flashback here for some setup.
Yeah, go for it. That sounds good to me.
All the kobolds are kind of all stood on a... stood holding a rope that's going into the water, kind of looking quite kind of prepared and kind of fitting back to the boat. And they're out of sight, but they're watching the boat gradually come towards this point on the on the thing. Beepo is nowhere to be seen.
Love it. Remember there's Terrace, who could be played by anyone if they want as well, and there is the boat that you have as well as a group. And Terrace can speak the light tongue, so there's always the option to try and trick them into doing something. So where do you think Slee and Osric are going to be, and the Body Snatcher if you brought him? If you bring your minions, you can have them for both this and the Riverton bit.
We have to pay a gold to bring them in. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me check my gold. I have no gold. Okay. Body Snatcher is not here.
No, just for clarification, you can also, if they have morale, they can come, if memory serves.
Oh, they can just come using morale. I thought the morale was just an extra roll.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they can spend morale to
you
come
go ahead
on
and
an adventure as well.
So is it safe to say that we have our boat here?
Yeah, it's like buried among it's not a particularly big boat, and it's like buried among the kind of in the mud among the rushes and stuff.
Okay. I think Osric would be on the boat, so ready, waiting to do some kind of hopefully useful spell.
Sounds good. If you want, you could be in the river, with all the torches out, kind of trying to hide in the middle of the river. If you should rather that, I don't mind where your setup wants to be. And Slee is welcome to be helping.
Is there anywhere over the top? Like, are we in this wide open area? I'm guessing next to the gnome area.
Yeah, I'm imagining you kind of near, not too far from the witches in the middle of the forest. So You're probably on a quite wooded edge. You're probably not a million miles from your ruins, to be fair, your dungeon, because the boat's here. You probably wouldn't have sailed it a long way.
Then I think what I would do is what has served me well with attacking boats before, which is climb up high.
Yeah.
And find a nice branch overhanging the river.
Sounds good. Do we have an answer on that morale thing yet, Chris?
Yes, so it's not, you don't spend morale on it, but because if I recall correctly, someone rolled a 6 on the Calamity, that is one of the outcomes of rolling a 6 on Calamity. Your minions gain a morale and they join the next raid for free.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. We did have that. I remember now. Sorry, I missed writing that one down. So yes, all the minions are joining this raid for free. You're absolutely correct. I definitely remember that.
Nice.
Yeah, so the Body Snatcher is here for you on the boat. He will paddle if you wish.
Yeah, he's on the Oz for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Don't trust him with anything more important than that.
He mutters at you and then cackles. Okay, the boat draws closer. It's now within leaping range. Slee, presuming Slee is the closest to this, unless Beepo is going to appear from nowhere. I think Tereth is probably also on the boat with you, unless anyone had another idea for what they wanted to do with Tereth.
I
Harith and
have.
Osric on a boat? What could possibly go wrong?
Oh God, hide your umbrella stands. I have a vague plan of someone who speaks the light tongue shouting out a distraction, and then all of the beasties descending on the ship from the other side.
Yeah, I like that idea. So Terrace could be somewhere else, effectively further upstream, or perhaps depends where the beasties are coming from. Perhaps the boat could be on the other side. It depends what your kind of perspective is here. So I'm going to roll for the engagement to see how things go then, since that seems like that's what's coming up right now. Okay. So who is going to initiate? Tereth is going to yell first of all. Is that kind of agreed? Sounds good. So Tereth, I think Tereth is with you on the boat, Osric, and maybe you're actually like away a bit, not directly towards Slee, and who knows, maybe Beepo's near there. No one really knows what Beepo is, but probably the kobolds are near Slee as well. And Tereth will just yell kind of, watch out for the rocks into the middle of the river or something, and they'll kind of be looking over towards Tereth into the water and poking in front of them. And Slee, no one seems to be paying attention to you right now.
Then I will drop on whoever's at the back.
Sounds good. Well, the person at the back is manning the rudder. It appears to be a young woman. And make your skulk, probably.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yes, because I'm trying to do it quietly.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want everyone being alerted. So,
I mean, if you want to finesse and just kill, finesse would be killing quickly but louder, whereas skulk would be making it super silent, as you say. Yeah.
I think so. I have Prowler, where I can spend a stress to perform an incredible feat of agility, but I don't. No, that doesn't apply. I'm going to go for Skulk because I want to try and stay as quiet as possible.
Does that fail?
Is a Dark Heart to re-roll everything, or is it just an extra die?
Dark Heart just gives you an extra die. The re-roll everything is Tereth's ability. The group could decide to use it now if you wish.
It feels a bit early.
Well, Tereth will have some stress, so Tereth can actually do this more than once. Let me have a look.
How bad is it? How bad is it, John? Is it?
My highest is a 3, so it is a fail.
It's pretty bad.
I don't mind going loud.
If you wanna use the stress, you can decide to use the stress. I've just kind of a group agreement thing here.
Nope, failure is still moving forward.
Okay.
Yes, failing forward is our motto here.
So Slee, you leap on the back of the boat fairly deftly, and as far as you perceive it, fairly quietly. But this woman seems to not be paying attention to the call and is instead looking up at the trees. You didn't really notice because you were kind of looking at the whole boat. So she immediately whips around and yells, basically instantly, something you don't understand. And you do not get the drop upon her. You're now basically facing her on the back of the boat as she's kind of stepped back with this kind of, she's just got like basically a pole. It looks like one of the poles they probably used to push the boat with that she's holding up. Looking quite terrified, but it's safe to say everyone else will, well, they know something's going on anyway. Beepo and your kobolds, is it time to do something now?
Oh, it's 100% time to do something. The sensing or hearing the change in vibes, the kobolds are going to grab the rope that they've been holding and basically run away from the river. The rope takes up the slack, and from the other bank you can hear a large splash and bubbling as a fairly sizable log starts coasting through the water quite quickly and impacts the front of the boat. Not we're sinking, but definitely enough to kind of move its course a bit, especially now that its driver is otherwise engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need a roll from those kobolds to see how effectively they can push it off course and to where you want it.
No, I built this plan, but I hadn't decided exactly. This is definitely a smash roll, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this sounds smashy to me. Does it not have smash?
Oh, wait, sorry. So I was gonna say, like, why do they not have any smash? They do have smash. I was looking at the wrong thing. This is 2 dice. Am I going to put a dark card into this so early? I don't think I am. Oh, I can't. It's kobolds.
You could use your morale.
2 and a 4, so mixed.
Yep. Okay, so I think you more or less achieved what you wanted there. You know, the boat's pulled over. It's not knocking people off their feet. It doesn't really seem to have done any damage, but it's certainly pulled off course somewhat.
I suppose I was going for another distraction as well. So now there's 2 things going on that people.
I think that is fair. There is distraction going on. Beepo, are you appearing? Beepo has an invisibility cloak, by the way, for those who are curious why this kobold is gone.
I will defer Beepo's action until I figure out what Osric and Tereth are doing.
Absolutely, sounds good. So Osric is a ritual on the cards here. Oh, sorry, I say ritual is raising the dead on the cards here, or is something else going to happen?
I think raising. I'm not sure about raising it because I feel like last time we attacked a boat, Osric raised it at some point, but presumably skeletons can't really swim. So I don't remember how we got any dead things to the boat.
I think you came with them. You already raised them. If you would like to do a bit of a flashback and raise dead now, that would make sense, and you could have them on your boat ready.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay, that's gonna be a stress for a flashback to raise some dead, I think.
All right. I'll take a stress, do a flashback, raise some dead in a place where there's lots of skeletons or zombies or corpses to raise. Have them with us on the boat, and then I guess I have to roll for that to start with. I will roll invoke.
Yeah. Are you going to push it as always? Oh, you've got a new thing now as well, by the way, right? An item. Forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I have an item. I've chosen the soul stone gem thing, which rattles at inopportune moments. Which I don't know. Maybe in this instance, I don't know if I have a soul in it yet. I don't know if I found it with a soul already in it. If I need to put a soul in it,
I'm rolling to see if it's got a soul in it or not. That sounds fun. Okay, it does rattle occasionally. I think that's probably more or less all you know. You can feel energy coming off it, it's safe to say as well.
Something in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Osric has... I rolled a mixed. I rolled a 5 as my best for raising.
Okay, so I think you have some, as far as you perceive it, somewhat mediocre zombies. You know, they're a bit falling apart. They're not high quality zombie, but they'll certainly, you know, drag people down in the process of being hacked to pieces.
Okay, good fodder, good cannon fodder.
Exactly, maybe 3 of them.
Okay, with those on the boat, maybe one of them is helping the body snatcher on the oars, and the other 2 are kind of at the front, ready to board. And probably at this moment, see Slee drop down just about, and then try and get out as close as we can to the other boat and have them leap across or get onto the boat, if at all possible.
Yeah, cool. I think they will fling themselves upon the boat and try and climb their way up. That sounds good. Osric, are you just kind of going to stand there and command them in your domineering ways?
Yeah, precisely. I think I might send one to the guy in the back, try and get them to help Slee out. Bit of a
gotcha. Sounds good.
Pincer attack.
Has anyone got votes for what Tereth may do, who is on this boat? Have any ideas?
Were we planning on taking the ship, or that's an idea? Were we planning on killing everyone or leaving some witnesses?
I think a couple of witnesses. Is a witness a good idea? No, because we're paying the gnomes to be the witnesses, so this has to be.
That's the idea. Yeah.
So we
And
need
also-
no survivors. Is what
I would
we
also
really-
like to say, if you had survivors and the people who attacked the boat were zombies, they might not be very convinced that it was done by the barony.
This is true. Or a snake person.
Or a snake person. So no survivors is the objective. Yeah, I'm happy to leave Tereth there for the moment.
Tereth has a crossbow,
Sounds useful. Good spot.
but no points in finesse. But he could light a torch and then in the next turn start throwing fire crossbow bolts across to the ship.
I like
So
that.
general chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So Tereth is going to light a torch and be prepared to try and burn the ship. That sounds good.
So Beepo proper now, I suppose, has not actually had the cloak of invisibility on all this time. They were just hanging out on the log that got dragged over to the boat, and have now jumped up onto the boat wielding the enchanted stick of destiny, and is going to just have at it.
Perfect. Okay, so there's probably a few crew on this boat, and then 1 or 2 guards as well. One of the crew has just already leapt off the boat and is in the water. Maybe they're trying to escape. It's up to you if you're going to try and kill them or you're going to let them go. Maybe they didn't see too much. There's maybe 2 other crew still on the boat, kind of panicking, and there's probably 2 guards on the front. So one basically ready to kind of potentially fight you off, and then this woman at the back who is steering, who seems to be a bit better armed and equipped as well than the regular crew. So it's potentially someone, I'd say guard, maybe just someone who's a bit more of an experienced fighter on the boat as well. So there's 3 significant people you'll need to tackle, and then a couple of others who are trying to escape or just hunker down. I think it's probably Slee first of all on this then. So you're going to try and presumably end this woman who was steering the boat, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
What you do? So many options.
There are. I could spring straight at her. I could spit poison in her face, but that's a bit played out. I could throw down a smoke bomb, which would spread chaos. I also have another trick up my sleeve, but I don't think it's immediately useful. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to throw down a smoke bomb.
Okay.
And then in the chaos of that, I'm going to try and get around the back of her.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think you need a thing to throw down a smoke bomb. Actually, I'm going to make a roll for you because she's right in front of you now to make sure she doesn't basically whack you while you're in the process of getting the smoke bomb.
That's
so effectively, give me a finesse, which is just going to be you have control of the situation enough to get the smoke bomb down and get behind her.
That's 6.
Yeah, you throw down the smoke bomb just before she whacks at you, and she just ends up like striking through the air. You know that cool. You're there, and then the smoke bomb goes down. She goes where you were, and it just goes like that right through where you were. It's very cool. You
Get
are
Batman.
In a split second. You are behind her, and presumably getting the garrote.
If I have a chance to do that, yes. But
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to count a smoke bomb as an attack and a movement as a movement.
I would like another roll for the garrote, but it's another finesse.
I will go for that then.
And I think your effect will be advantaged here as well.
Highest, so there's a 5.
Yeah, you have the garrote on her. You're 5, so it's a mix, so you haven't killed her. They're basically struggling as is. So we'll leave it on the struggling thing going on. She's certainly not in a good position, it's safe to say.
Yeah, no.
Let's have some rolls for some zombies, shall we, Sam?
Cool.
So 2 of them are going to engage the 2 guards who are on the boat. It's fair to say the zombies aren't in a particularly advantageous position, falling apart as they are, climbing onto a boat as they are with people who have weapons.
Difficult.
But, they're cannon fodder. It's their job. So make some 1 dice smash rolls, I think.
Okay. 1 die smash. That's a 3.
Okay, so one of the zombies just gets pushed straight off into the water.
Bloody zombies.
It might float back and climb back up again.
Okay. I'll be yelling at him to do so. Get back on that boat! You're embarrassing us all.
Embarrassing zombie. The zombie's like, whoa!
Okay. For the other one?
Mm-hmm.
A 2. Even worse.
I know 3 and 2 isn't distinct, but just so that for the sake of the same thing not happening, this zombie gets cleaved. It's climbing up and it gets kind of cut into its shoulder and it just kind of goes as it splits apart. And the bits keep on flailing about, but it's safe to say that one's not going to be climbing back up again.
Okay.
The zombies have provided a brief distraction.
Osric is less mad at that zombie. That's at least respectable to just get cleaved. Getting pushed up the boat is shameful.
It didn't even do anything different. It just got hacked apart rather than getting pushed off. From the zombies' perspective, there was no action that was different. Okay, we'll go to Beepo, but I just want to clarify, no one is immediately doing anything about the one person who's trying to escape. They're kind of paddling away. Is that correct?
I think my kobolds are going to have clocked that one and will be under instructions from Beepo that no one should get away from this.
Sounds good.
So they're going to probably piranha that poor fella.
I think that sounds like a nice roll then. I wonder if... No, it's probably a smash. You can do a smash. Piranha smash.
I think they'll do a smash as well.
Piranha smash.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a
if
6.
there's any... Yep, if there's anything on here that they do, it's a smash. Yep, so it's quite a lot like a piranha attack, actually. Kind of the kobolds go into the water and sort of disappear in the darkness, and this person's just paddling away like, and then all of a sudden there's like the gnashing of little kobold teeth, and they're like, and it's just kind of the struggling stops after a moment as the hand comes up and blood spreads out, and then there's just some kobolds coming up to the like surface of the water, going nibbling away on bits of something.
God, they're such good little friends, aren't they? Perfect, blameless angels.
They were hungry today. It's safe to say sometimes they can be quite scary and effective, these kobolds. So I think Tereth is going to... I'll make a roll for Tereth this time. Tereth is going to... And let's spend a thingy as well. Why not? Make a shot and get a 6. So yeah, the one of the crossbow bolts with like a lit piece of wadding basically on it, like fires straight into the prow of the boat, kind of since it's a 6, let's say it's hits the lantern in the front of the boat, and the lantern explodes into flames, not immediately injuring any of you because you're near the front of the boat. It's like it doesn't like injure any of the guards, but they're both kind of like this as the lantern explodes and burning oil kind of sets fire on the front of the boat. Slee, I would like I think it's going to be a smash this time for strangling someone to death because it's about force. Or you could just throw them over the side of the boat.
If I throw them over the side of the boat, they might swim away, though.
Yeah. This person, because you didn't succeed at the finesse immediately to kill them, so it was like a mix, so you didn't kill them immediately. So that's why you're kind of in a struggling position right now, if you see what I mean, which is why I'm giving you a smash.
Unless you want to do something else. Would it also be a smash if I throw us both over the side of the boat? Because I think I'm more capable in the water than this person is.
No, I don't think that would be a smash. I think I'd let you do that with a finesse.
I'm going to do that.
Just flopping off the back of the boat, taking it with you.
What happened to the zombie that was coming our way?
To be honest, the boat's moving very slow. It's a sluggish river. I think the zombie's still quite close to the front of the boat at this point.
That's a 6.
Okay, yeah, you absolutely just basically flop right off the back and pull her with you, and it's safe to say her balance is off and she's panicking and gurgling in the water at the other end. Are you going to? I'll just continue this because we'll find out what happens. Are you going to just go straight in for the kill with a dagger or something now, or drown her? What's the plan?
I feel like I need to be quick, so yeah, maybe dagger and then leave her for the kobolds.
Sounds good. Finesse again.
Highest is a 4.
Okay. You go at her with a dagger, but she's like, given that you've basically smoke bombed her, garroted her, and then pulled her off the boat. She's done a surprisingly good job of keeping track of your movements. And the dagger slashes towards her, and she kind of dodges out of the way. You just manage to slice slightly down her arm, and you see the glint of metal as she, while swimming in the water, has drawn her own dagger. We will cut back to Osric and commanding of zombies. Give me a finesse for this zombie, a 1 dice finesse.
Okay. Hopefully he can redeem himself. That's a 3. These are terrible zombies.
The zombie's just basically doing this downstream. It's like the zombie knows the concept of swimming, but isn't oriented the right way or really aware of their body or what's going on.
I think Osric's a bit needs something to redeem this, and it's gonna tell the body snatcher to jump across and put his body on the line, try and do a bit of fighting.
Sounds good. I was going to offer you one amusing savior as well. If you'd like, Osric can push the zombie with one of the poles towards the boat.
100%. Osric's
okay.
Gonna
Give me a finesse to see if you can push the zombie into the
boat.
Okay.
Do I have any finesse? I got 2 finesse. Okay.
Oh, good.
Nice.
You're good at the zombie punting.
That's a 6.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to do it yourself.
So not only do you push the zombie in the right direction, you even kind of push them up a bit. So they're kind of like, you've got their arms back up. So this zombie is now climbing back up the boat. And I'll tell you what, you got a 6. Yeah, the zombie and the body snatcher will make a roll to try and get these guards again.
Okay, nice. I think the body snatcher he doesn't have anything particularly. He has 2 skulk, but I don't think we're in a skulking situation anymore.
No, so unless you wanted the body snatcher not to fight them immediately, instead sneak round. It wouldn't be a skulk.
Nah, he can go and fight.
He looks uncertain while you're basically saying this.
Yeah. You're a fighter now.
Got like a shovel.
Okay, we can hit him with a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
So for the body snatcher, I guess it'll be 2 dice. Take the lowest.
Yeah.
Okay.
What could go wrong? You have a morale to spend if you'd like to make it just 1 dice.
That's 2 1s.
The body snatcher, he doesn't even make the jump. You go on. I think his heart wasn't even in it. He just basically jumps straight to the river.
As his foot slips on our boat and he just bangs his head on the edge of the next boat.
Yeah, Sam, I just can I remind you that this is a collaborative game. Yeah, you're
on the
you don't get extra points for ruining everything.
on the failures, I get to have fun with your characters.
Osric's doing his part, Chris. It's just the minions who are letting the team down.
Oh gosh.
But the zombie,
So the zombie gets a 1 dice roll attack.
Please. Nope, that's a 2.
Okay, this time the zombie is cleaved. That one with the sword who cleaved the last one's ready for the next one again and does exactly the same thing this time, chopping the arm that they've got off completely, and the zombie flails off into the water, not twitching less than it was before anyway. There's 1 more zombie on your boat you could send over, but maybe next round because they've worked so well so far. But at least their boat is thoroughly on fire right now, which is an advantage.
Okay, good distraction.
Go on, Chris.
So Beepo kind of, from issuing forth from that fire, Beepo is going to use an equipment. And what they've done is they've got some of the mycelial mushrooms that grow in the cave, and they've dried them out.
Very nice.
And they kind of, this is an elaborate ruse here, but I hope you'll appreciate the theatre of it. They're going to throw the mushrooms into the fire, which they'll kind of crackle and burn in slightly strange green colors, creating quite a scary looking thing. And then Beepo is going to emerge from out of the fire with the stick now wreathed in flame, and kind of just one of the two guards who may have kind of collected themselves, Beepo is just going to point at them and then charge with the stick. This is all an elaborate ruse so that I can use threaten as an attack roll.
Love it. I was about to say this is a threat and attack roll, isn't it? Go ahead.
Right.
And this is definitely bonus effect. I'm not supposed to give you extra dice, but super effective.
That's 3 dice on the thing. I'm just going to roll it. Yeah, there's a 6 there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the spirit of collaborative, I'm happy for you to describe what happens to this guard, and it doesn't have to be a physical attack at this point, I feel.
Yeah, so the attack lands, but I'm actually going to spend stress to invoke Smite, which means that my successful attack also creates a level 1 spell. And kind of upon contact with the guard, the flames catch the guard as though they were made of straw, but the flames also start burning purple, a color we've seen before. And spreads now the purple flames at the front of the boat, creating an eerie and terrifying visage.
Beepo kind of surrounded by it as this guard screams and burns, probably for a good 15 seconds before they manage to find the edge of the boat and flail themselves off into the water. Not that they're going to survive in there. Excellent. One guard is dealt with. I want to see how Slee is going to do at this now swimming knife fight. I think a knife fight's still got to be a finesse roll, isn't it?
Yep.
Against this
Before I
tenacious.
do,
Go on.
I don't think I can spit a load of poison because I'm trying to stay above water and there's water everywhere. But I think I can coat my blade. Does that sound fair?
I don't think so. Not while you're in the water, because I mean, I feel like it's just gonna, unless you can keep your blade consistently above water, which is probably quite hard to
That's
do.
a good point.
I would also make the case that you're kind of engaged in a knife fight right now, rather than preparing for a knife fight. If you see what I mean, it's all happening within a second or two. So
Yeah, no,
you could spit poison, but you probably couldn't coat your blade in poison. Sorry, I'm being the boring one.
No, it's all right. In that case, I'm going to go for my backup. Can I... So I have a second weapon. That is a set of very special throwing knives. Can I pretend to try and strike her? No, I'm just going to knife her. It's getting too complicated.
I love the idea that all of these things are going through Slee's mind in the water. Poison man. I could
Just do that. Then if I dual wield, then I can't actually swim. So no, just stab her.
Getting another
Just
blade out
stab
there going underneath the waves.
That's a 6.
A 6. Okay, you have stabbed her. Where would you like to have stabbed her? It is up to you.
I'm trying to think how you would stab someone while you're swimming. I think we're swimming, we're kind of grappling, sort of half keeping each other afloat and also trying to push each other under. So I think it makes sense to sort of come up through the underside of the ribs.
Yep, that makes sense to me. And you do. And your blade sinks deep into her chest, up from below her ribs. And she immediately stops struggling as clearly you've hit something very important. And the water by your hand goes very hot. And she kind of stays still and a shocked expression comes over her face. She goes momentarily pale. And when you withdraw your blade, she just goes down. And about 20 seconds later comes back up, not moving anymore.
By that point, I am already out of the water.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like you might have a quick glance back and a nod.
I'm going to try and find her afterwards to loot the body if I can. But
sounds good. The river is
for
slow
now,
enough. You have a fair chance of doing that.
For now, there is warmer meat to deal with.
Flaming meat. So
yeah.
There is one guard left on the boat and a few terrified-looking sailors. I think as you get back up on the boat, one of the sailors might just try and whack you with a stick. So just to give me one more finesse. Sorry, a lot of finesse for you today. That's one of your good
Fine,
stats.
it's my strongest skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5.
Yeah, I was going to be a pretty ineffectual hit anyway, so I think a 5 is good enough that you're just staggered over for a moment by it, and you maybe hiss back at them or something. Okay, I really would love to see Osric make another zombie roll. The body snatcher's gone. You don't even know where he swam off to.
Not sure I care at this point.
He's going to come back damp into the dungeon a little while later.
Did he swim, or just did he sort of float away down face down?
Oh yeah, they just leapt in the water and just went.
The gnomes will get him.
That's a hilarious image. No, they won't. He tastes disgusting.
Not even the gnomes want the body snatcher.
It's his natural defense.
Okay. So Ultric's gonna tell this last zombie, get off the Oz, redeem your companions, go jump on that boat and kill some guards or sailors or whatever there is left.
The zombie has a determined expression. They're going to succeed. They will prove that their kin can be redeemed, and they charge and leap over the side of the boat and roll me smash.
That's a 4, mixed, huge.
There. And they manage to grab onto the side of the boat and haul themselves up. And I think with a 4, they haven't exactly, hurt the opponent, but they're at least standing there with the last guard. This is the one who had the sword and was hacking apart the other zombies. So it's safe to say looking not comfortable about this situation, but they've been pushed back by the zombie and now they're facing off against each other.
Okay, nice. It's a low benchmark, but he has surpassed it. So well done, zombie.
Exactly. Beepo, are you going to steal the credit from this last zombie?
No, I think there are still some people who aren't the things there. I think
2 sailors left as well.
Yeah, Beepo's going to be fully in the moment, absolutely drama schooling now, is delivering a sermon to these sailors in a language they can't even possibly understand. And I think that's just going to be a threaten roll just to make sure they are completely cowed.
Sounds good. Well, one is kind of engaged with Slee, so it's the other one you're facing towards now. The last one, who is a round-bellied dwarf.
And yeah, this is not an attack by any means. This is a psychological... Oh, wow, there's a 6 in there again.
You're threatening them. What do you want them to do?
I'm just going to drain them of hope. I want to take all their hope out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think they just curl up into the fetal position up on the deck and just stay there with their hands over their head and don't move. You can do what you want with them later. They're not moving for now. So I think that's just the zombie fighting that guard and Slee with the other sailor. So Slee, what do you want to do with this sailor? You're basically toying with this one. I think it's safe to say now they're not competent. In fact, I am just going to make one little roll for them. I know I shouldn't make rolls often, but just for fun. Oh, okay. No, they did. They got okay. This sailor is going to, upon seeing this terrifying snake person who's already dispatched someone with a smoke bomb and seemed to very much know what they were doing, they're going to, as fast as they can, basically leap backwards off the boat to try and escape. And they rolled a 6, so you're going to need a decent finesse roll to stop them if that's what you want to do.
Well, in that case, would this count as an incredible feat of agility?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds pretty.
Then I'm going to spend a stress for my
just do it.
prowler ability. Spend a stress to perform an incredible feat of agility.
Describe exactly how you stop them falling off, and if you wish, kill them in the process.
I don't think I stop them falling off. I think I just make sure I get in contact with them before they touch the water.
Love it. So you're going in with them, or you're making them dead before they enter?
I am going in with them. They are throwing themselves back. I'm throwing myself forward in the same movement. We are tumbling off the boat. We are hitting the water as one entity. We are going down. There is a long pause. There is a single air bubble. And then Slee drags the body out onto the riverbank for later.
Amazing. That was really perfect. There was such a good moment in my imagination there where they throw themselves at the back of the boat in like a panic, and were just hoping to be free of this madness. And in a split second, had realized that your face was there, going down with them as they were descending. And I could just imagine a smile on Slee's face in that moment.
A smile slightly too big,
Yeah.
as they've already unhooked their jaw.
Incredible. Oh gosh. Well, it's just this sword-wielding guard, Osric. What do you think the chances for your zombie are here?
Based on historical results, very poor, but I guess we can see.
Smash time. Come on, zombie.
6. Redemption.
What happened? No, you can describe it. Sorry, I always like to describe these things, but you go for it.
I want this zombie to just like basically march him down, and this guy, probably having seen Slee absolutely annihilate everyone who goes in the water, does not want to go anywhere near the water, and so stays on the boat, and the zombie just kind of like gets over to him and starts basically eating him, I suppose, is what a zombie would do, like biting him, going for the neck, going for any exposed bit of flesh, and probably doesn't end very pleasantly for the poor guard.
No, I think that's safe to say. I think it's probably like for the next 5 minutes or so of your conversations and whatever goes on in this boat, there's just this guard being slowly eaten to death by the zombie going on as his screams get quieter and quieter and weaker. But being eaten to death by human teeth isn't very quick. So, and the zombie's not particularly accurate or, clever about it. So, it's just like an arm here and like, a leg there. As this guard's just like wailing and trying to escape, but unable to. So that's going on in the background for the next scene. But you've captured the boat. It's more on fire than it was a moment ago, but for now, you're safe on it. What are your plans to do with it? There's one person curled up in the fetal position as well. I think Beepo would have the first say on what to do with them if you wish to do anything with them.
Oh, it's just, I'm gonna have to die.
Are you doing the honors, smashing them over the back of the head?
I think Beepo might be a little bit. This is kind of a little bit beneath Beepo. He's just going to kind of either wait until someone else does it, or if no one else does it, once the kobolds have caught up, he'll kind of gesture with an offhand and tell them to set upon them.
I think Tereth might take a bit of glee in stabbing someone in the back, having not had a chance to stab anyone recently. So Tereth will happily do the honors and quickly stab them twice in the back. And they just, the first stab they kind of flail about a bit, and the second stab they die. And that is the end of that. As blood covers the deck slick of this, what was a rather lovely boat not long ago. So, are you leaving it to burn? Are you planning on doing anything else with it?
Anything on it? Like you mentioned barrels and stuff.
Big barrels, and if you try and open one of the corks, they do indeed smell like some sort of wine. It's quite good stuff, but you don't know how you shift these barrels.
I think Beepo and the kobolds will be trying to see if they can, maybe not successfully, maybe there's a roll involved, will be trying to get at least one of these barrels into the water with a rope attached to it so we can drag it on shore again.
Let's have a finesse roll from Beepo and from the kobolds to see what we get kind of overall.
Well, let me tell you, that is nobody's good spot. Where's finesse? Finesse is 1 for Beepo. I am going to spend a dark heart to make it 2 dice because I haven't used any dark hearts. That's a mixed of 5.
And what did the kobolds get?
Of course, the kobolds. Hang on. The kobolds are 0 finesse. So what's that? 2 dice and take the worst, isn't it? Oh, that's a failed 1.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be mean. You manage, with the kobold's help, to get it to the side of the boat, but the kobolds push it off the boat with such force that it smashes upon contact with the water, and the wine drains away. Probably hit a rock or something underneath the water.
I think I think we probably don't want this boat. I mean, we're happy for it to burn down, but we probably want there to be some remains of this boat that are like visible. So maybe we could tow it over to like the bank and let it burn down, but let there be like remains of it on the shore, because otherwise, like, who knows what happened to it. Whereas if it's like a burnt down kind of husk of a boat, then presumably another river town trader will find it and be like, oh right, one of our boats is.
Partly sink it in the mud so it stays and doesn't burn too much, and then maybe put some tabards lying about in the mud nearby, sort of thing.
Exactly. Leave a bit of evidence.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, I think you can do that. Go on, John.
Did the prisoner have anything recognizable on her? The Baroness's daughter.
I think, I think her clothes would be, and she also had a very recognizable, necklace.
We could leave the necklace as evidence. Like, is it recognizable enough that we think someone from Rivertown would recognize it, or is it recognizable as in, like, the Baroness?
Unless they happen to know her, it's not exactly common knowledge,
Yeah, no.
I think
No,
it's
never mind.
putting a hat on the hat.
Yeah.
I guess if there are any bodies that are dead in a way that looks like it could be from like a human weapon, I don't know if there are any, or if they've all been like eaten.
I think a few of them have been stabbed, so yeah, that could happen.
Okay, leave one of those around so it looks like a more human attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If we can convince Lee to not eat all of them.
Well, I can't eat all of them before they go bad.
The wailing of the guard who was being eaten by the zombie finally ceases as the flames start to engulf both the zombie and the guard. I can imagine Osric almost doing a little salute to the zombie.
Yeah, well done. You redeemed me. You redeemed your companions. You'll go down in the annals of zombie history.
Finally, the goblin boat that was witnessing all this sailed off into the distance towards Riverton. You hope to deliver the news that you wanted. And I think a trick roll, which I guess Tereth would make probably, to effectively do a good job of making the kind of, the tabards look like it was a battle, and maybe position some people to there were soldiers attacking from the other side, sort of thing. So one of you want to roll it then? I think it's a 2 dice trick, and I think it's fair. Tereth would probably use a thingy on this, so make it a 3 dice. I will record.
Who wants to roll for it? Not
I've had a
Sam,
lot of
because you've had
fixes.
terrible rolls.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, now you play the statistics because Sam's next roll is bound to be good.
That's how it works.
That is
I'm
how
happy to give
probability
it a
works.
try, but don't blame me if it goes horribly wrong.
Oh no, we're still going to blame you if it goes wrong.
All right, I'll give it a go. I'll take the blame. So this is 3 dice. A mixed 1, a 4.
Okay, sounds good. So, I mean, as far as you know, Tereth's done a job of making this look like it was a battleground. I'm going to make a few notes.
Scratches. The barony was here on the.
Yeah. With love, barony. Okay. Are you planning on heading straight to Riverton this night? Or are you kind of going to give it a few days for the news to spread? What's the plan? Because you could probably get there by midnight-ish. Wait.
Yeah, it would
I mean,
need
we
at
could-
least a day.
Yeah, but we do want to get there before, because we're expecting someone from the barony to go to Rivertown after our attack on the barony.
You
We want to get
against
it
the
before
clock.
then. But I agree that maybe a day. But what is our plan in general with Rivertown? Like, who are we? Why do we have this prisoner? Like, what's the
That's
plan?
a lot of questions. See a cop. It's just a hostage exchange. Like, it's just a little bit of light crime.
Okay, we'll leave Terence to think of all these issues.
We are some travel boats havers,
Travel like salesmen.
who just happened to be passing when we saw a small army running away from a burning ship, and we decided to attack one of them.
Maybe she was already injured, and that's how we caught her. Injured in the fight, and then we injure her, and then it's like
She does have a head wound she got conked over the head by the body snatcher.
She did, yeah. And you, by the way, you're playing Tereth, so feel free to be Tereth conniving in this conversation.
I
Not
don't
the
think any of us
Tereth,
can do
yeah.
that justice.
I think this is 100% just a nice shady deal. This is Riverton like. They're not good. They're good people, but they're not good people. I say, Tereth turns up with some shady figures in the background and says, I have the Baroness's daughter here. Here's the necklace to verify her. We understand you've had some difficulties recently. We're offering you her for one large treasure worth exactly one level of a dungeon.
I like it.
Yep. Okay, that seems reasonable. And then we leave. Tereth can figure out the negotiation
Which
part
means
of
you
that,
as a
yeah.
group.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's happening. Let's skip ahead to the next night. Say 8 p.m. You're coming out of the forest. What is the plan here? Are you making yourself seen? Are you trying to dress yourself up as humans, or are you happy to... of all of you, Osric and Tereth can look somewhat human-like. Slee and Beepo can't really. You got the body snatcher as well, and obviously you're captive. Now, it's possible for you to kind of hide and stealth in the bushes until you get close to the city because it's dark. But certainly once you get close, you're either opening yourself up to be obviously monsters, or Slee and Beepo and the kobolds definitely cannot go. And there's still a bit of a risk if you get too close. Open or not?
On the quiet.
Cool.
Agreed.
Okay. In that case, you're probably maybe a quarter of a mile from the city, still in the dark, behind a kind of a little copse of trees and a few rocks. And this is as close as the more monstrous of you can get. Tereth has a knife to the fairly unresistant and not in a good state by now, captive, because her mind has also been pretty messed with by Osric previous session. She's just kind of going wherever you drag her. And he's ready to go. Is Osric or the body snatcher going to go with him?
I think Osric will make an effort to look as non-threatening as possible. I'll probably have the body snatcher just as someone who's very obviously human to kind of, oh, well, that guy's human, so the other two are probably also human kind of thing.
I love how he's probably like the least human you could possibly imagine, but he's technically human. It's one of those things where it was like, in a group of humans, you'd all be like... but yeah, no, perfect. So you've kind of got dark hoods and relatively baggy clothing on, so it's not obvious unless you're in the plain open light that you're not human. And you're with the body snatcher. So the three of you march out towards the city gates. Did you have something to say, Chris?
Beepo's there. Beepo is 100% there, but also 0% there.
Do they know you're there, or are you not telling anyone?
It would be out of character for a servant of Malawi to simply tell them what they're doing.
I love the idea that Beepo and Slee are hiding in the bushes with the copse trees, and then Slee's like, hey, so what do you think, Beepo?
No, I think Beepo has disappeared often enough that I'm not surprised that Beepo has disappeared, but I still assume that they're there. I don't look around looking confused, but I do just keep talking to no one.
Okay. And if you do want to do something else, Slee, I'm happy for you to take actions depending on what goes on, but I'm aware you've been kind of sidelined in this one. Although, to be fair, you have Tereth you could play, so... I am going to make engagement roll. Okay. You're pretty close to the gate. and you think for kind of guards up there are just kind of doing that and looking out, and they might just clock you, and they're about to say who goes there when the gates open and an armed contingent of mounted, shiny looking warriors, knights or something, come trotting out on horseback, 20, 30 of them. They can see you plain as day now they're out here. And some of them, they don't stop, but they're kind of looking at you, eyeing you as you go by. Staying put and just continuing to walk up, or waiting for them? What's the plan?
So, like, if they're shiny, that means they're important, and actually the important people are the ones we want to deal with. So do you think Tereth in this situation would kind of introduce themselves? Or is that a little bit too...
I think Tereth would. Because
Yeah.
we gotta talk to somebody, like you say. These seem like the best people to talk to at the moment, so better to be confident than not. Maybe.
The question here is, was Sam's engagement roll good for us or bad for us?
I haven't made it.
I think Tereth would greet them,
Mm-hmm.
probably very cordially, but not necessarily introduce himself.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah, I
going to
think
be
that's fair.
cagey about giving information, but very not cagey about giving flattery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Tereth will indeed make a bow as they pass and probably poke Osric, and the body snatcher will follow suit, and then we'll just say something along the lines of good evening, my lords, as they pass by. And I think one or two who are looking probably are persuaded by this, but one at the back who's wearing particularly shiny, kind of bronzy, almost goldy looking armor, and has some like feathers at the back of their hat, so it must be important, wheels their horse around with an A and rides a few steps closer to you and stops a little way off. And I would like, I'm going to make Osric roll one of these for it. You can do a skulk or a trick roll. This is just that's a bit of an odd shape, or no suspicion whatsoever roll.
Okay, I have 2 in trick and none in skulk, so I'm going with trick.
Mm-hmm. In that case, you're acting rather than trying to hide yourself.
Okay. That's a 4, so mixed.
Okay. I'd like to describe how you're acting like a human, because that's fun.
I think Osric is going to bow very deeply, to like partly to be very kind of subservient, and also partly to hide more of his face and his body by bowing, and then I really don't know how Osric is good, because Osric doesn't even speak like the light tongue, so can't even say anything.
I'm trying to think what you would observe.
So it has to be like perfect.
You do know there's like 20 words at the bottom of the character sheet that we do know.
Yeah, you just start saying like a few human words.
I think Osric's going to turn to the body snatcher and be like, yes, no. While the body snatcher hopefully improvises some sensible opposite part of this conversation.
I would like to...
not bad tonight.
Like,
go on.
Sort of half-heartedly flash back to maybe half an hour ago, with Tereth giving you like a crash course on how to appear friendly to humans, and he's going to say, look, if you don't know what to say and you don't know what they're saying, you don't need to understand a word anyone is saying. Just repeat back the last word someone has said and sound interested, right? Smile and nod. Don't smile and nod. Your smile is terrifying. Just
that you don't
last
actually have
word.
This isn't actually presumably using that reroll skill. This is just good advice from Tereth.
Yeah.
Good advice from Tereth. We need a spin-off show. Okay, that's good. So he's definitely eyeing you a little bit, and then says to, Tereth is the one who understands this. What are you doing out tonight? Peasants? Traders? It's late to be on the streets. Tereth replied, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I think Tereth will be like, yes, it is a dark night for trade, but a dark time for trade as well. Terrible, terrible news about the piracy on the waters the other evening, was it not?
How do you know about that? Trying to keep it quiet. I guess these things travel.
We also travel. We travel up and down the river a lot.
Yes, well, don't tell people about it if you wouldn't mind. Don't want to spread fear. Where do you come from?
It is. We came from along the river. We were making our way on foot and came across, we came across the item which we are hoping to trade. I think Tereth will then present the young lady.
Mm-hmm. I think it's time for Tereth to make a roll here.
Oh!
It might be quite an important one.
I think
so
this one's like, on me, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a banter, which is, by being nice, it's a trick or a banter probably. A banter is 3 dice.
And where's his dark hearts?
He has... Let me just double check.
There's none highlighted, but
this is an old sheet.
The sheet is slightly out.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of filling in for how many you would have got in the off session, which Steve wasn't here for. So I think he's got 1 more dark heart to spend.
I think this is absolutely a situation where that heart would be spent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 4 dice. Here we go.
Might be an important one.
There's a 6 there. Oh, thank goodness. 2, 6, 2, 5.
Okay, 2, 6.
That's critical.
No, sorry, no. A 2, a 6, a 2, and a 5.
Oh, okay, I think his eyes narrow for a sec, and then he nods, and basically awaits the next thing you're going to say. He seems to be fully convinced that you are who you say you are.
I checked this necklace is verification of the young lady's identity.
Are you walking right up to him, or are you going to kind of throw it over? You probably get away with walking right up as long as there's not too much lying here, because he's not suspicious at the moment.
I think he'll kind of hand it out from a respectful distance, like from a
maybe almost like
shanky distance,
nodding over, so it's kind of like, respectful without showing the face, sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So he will take it. Make a roll to see if he actually might recognize it, because that seems interesting. It's kind of nobly. I think he takes the necklace and goes, nicely made, but I can't say I recognize it. What are you trying to suggest?
This young lady is the Baron's daughter.
His frown deepens. How did you find her?
She was on the river, or near it.
He basically looks up and over to the rest of the retinue who are marched off a little way on their horseback and whistles, and they stop, and a few of them start coming back over.
I think at this point I'd like to do a beepo.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beepo is going to spend a stress, and obviously invisible, but almost inaudible as well. Some whispers will be made depending on the outcome of my invoke roll. But this is a level 2 ritual, but probably only a level 1 effect. And it is in the Malawi's School of Secrets. And it is to make this secret that has just been told seem very, very valuable indeed.
I love it. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, that will be a level 1 effect in this context. So you can roll your dice for succeeding in one go, you see what I mean? Because it's not tier 2 without preparation. Go for it.
Right, so invoke is 2. I'm spending my last dark heart. 3 dice. There's another 6, thank God. A 1, a 2, and a 6.
Okay, there is a subtle, a moment when his gaze just freezes and he stares at the woman. the young woman who you got as captive. And then he looks over at the folks marching over and just holds his hand up and goes, "Never mind," and waves them on. And they kind of look confused for a moment and shrug. I think perhaps linger, but don't come over. I think Tereth nods, not quite at you, Beepo, but vaguely in your direction. Subtly. Does anyone
That's
want to take the
terrible
next?
news, I suppose.
Does anyone want to make the next Tereth speak? As this guy looks greedily at this young woman.
Can Osric flashback to, I guess, probably when we're in the dungeon or when we were walking over here, and he wants to have cast some kind of, I think I have this under enchantment, some kind of hypnotism on this woman, this girl, to make her say something along the lines of like, the barony's fight against Riverton will not die with me, like something to the effect that she's like admitting guilt is the idea.
I like that. You have to make a roll to see if you succeed at getting that head, because that's a bit more complicated than just generally affecting her brain.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. I guess it's probably a tier 2 is hypnotism. Maybe this is a bit more than that. I don't know what you think.
I think it will be a tier 2.
Okay. Tier 2.
Yeah, just one specific thought at this moment. I think that's fair.
I am gonna push it, which gives me an extra dice, but also means that I can't resist any consequences if it goes badly. So. Okay, that's a mixed. That's a terrible roll, but I got a 4.
These mixed make it difficult for me. What did you want her to say?
I want her to say basically like, the fight against Riverton will never die. Of course, we will not stand any longer for your oppression from Rivertown. We're our own power, and we will die to achieve our freedom, or something like that.
Okay. What she does is she says that. She says exactly that, and then she faints completely unconscious, more or less immediately afterwards. And I think this guy who's been persuaded that she is now an immensely valuable hidden secret leaps suddenly towards her off his horse to try and grab her from you. What are you going to do? That's your mixed consequence. Tereth is holding her, but you can play Tereth in this moment.
I think Tereth has a good sense of like, we don't want to hand her over and then try and negotiate. So he's going to try and probably, wait. We've done a good deal of work to capture this valuable prisoner, and I'm sure you can understand we want to see our efforts rewarded by the great city of Riverton.
We are traders, after all.
I love you both saying Tereth lines here. Okay. Because he has stepped down off his horse and is now close to you, I am going to need another roll from Osric and Tereth to just make it not seem a bit, wait a minute.
I'm a dark heart, this.
Tereth does not have... Go on.
Even with Tereth's mask on?
It's more a shape thing is what I was going for. Although Tereth does also have hooded cloak.
Yeah, he also has horns. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing, exactly. But I will let Tereth make a 3 dice roll for a trick +1 for the cloak. You can be using that hidden thing as a protection armor. That's what it is, isn't it?
So Sam, do you want to roll?
Oh, I can roll for Tereth as well.
You can roll. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Tereth got a 4. So 2 mixed.
Putting me in these middling positions can decide one way or
I rolled maybe like 20 dice and got 1 6. Maybe probably more than.
Okay. He steps back and nods and goes, "Yes, I." And then he just looks at both of you. You're like quite small for humans. You're maybe 5 foot, maybe slightly over 5 foot tall, and you're much more pointy than a person would be. So I think he kind of looks at both of you, and he goes, "Yes, of course," and doesn't say anything else at the moment. And then after a split second long, goes, "So what are you asking? Recompense here? Money? Favors?"
How does this work systemically? Or is this do we need a chest of treasure off the guy for it to be thing, or one perfect opal, or?
I want to know what you're asking for. Well, I mean, narratively, what do your characters think you should ask for in this circumstance? I think Terrace might have a bit more of an idea, so I would, allow you a bit of what could they give questioning. But you haven't done a lot of investigation on Riverton, though, so...
Yeah, so the outcome here is to pass the fulcrum of have we upgraded the dungeon. So we need to know what that, I suppose, the pouch of gold at his waist is probably not going to cut it.
No,
but
you're probably asking for go on.
But a chest of gold that needs 3 men to carry probably also is not exactly.
You could ask for something, for example, a few gold bars might be the sort of thing that you could walk away with, but would equally be a tier upgrade for your dungeon.
That would make sense. So maybe for this young lady, a gold bar each.
There's going to be a slight negative to what you did, Beepo, though. He will look at you, Terrace, we said that, and go, and just grab the hilt of his sword and go, all right, could just take her from you. After all, you're in my father's realm now. She is a prisoner of the Duke of Riverton, rightfully so. You've brought her here under dutiful and honourable reason.
We have indeed, and we are dutiful and honourable traders who have come to the same dutiful and honourable and storied town of Riverton. You would not expect a prince of your stature, sir, to resort to highwaymanery.
Okay, I think this is going to be a banter from Terrace in this moment.
Fortunately, that's Tereth's strong suite.
It is indeed. But no more dark arts.
3. Okay. Another 6. 6, 2, 3. Just let me do the rolling. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Can you roll for me today, Chris?
It's crazy. I think I've had one mixed today.
Okay. He will release the hilt of his sword and go, You're right, I suppose. It would not be honourable of me to... What was I thinking? Of course. And he turns around and goes, open the gate! And the gates swing open, and he marches inside. Are you going to just wait here? No other actions to be taken in the meantime?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I don't think we want the extra eyes on us of going inside. So here seems a lot safer.
But what if Beepo? What about Beepo? Why does no one ever think about Beepo?
Is Beepo going in?
What are you talking about? Beepo's right next to me. Over in the tree line.
Oh, can Beepo do some quick skulking to go and do maybe a little desecration? Is that
absolutely?
That a thing
you will need to skulk to be able to move freely within this quite busy town, even with a cloak. But yeah, go for it.
Beepo's got 2 dice in skulk and sees an opportunity to do the work of Malawi and proceeds to dart in.
You couldn't normally get past this palisade easily, so it's a nice opportunity to get inside the town of Riverton, which now you're in is fairly nice. It's nice wattle and daub, lovely buildings and lovely wooden, frame structures, and then nice. You even see some stone buildings here by the side of the river, so it's very posh.
So
What do we
Beepo
get
is
next?
taking no risks and is beelining for whatever looks like the temple or
Okay.
a temple.
I think there's probably a few places that are religious, but there's the biggest one where you can see straight down the street as soon as you enter. It's basically a church, as you would imagine it. It's one of the only stone buildings. It's quite tall and narrow. It has the picture of a big golden sun on the front of it.
Now, I suppose this is an engagement role, but how busy is a temple after dark on a night? I think it's
I
probably
think that's
winding down.
got to be a roll, I think. It's just ended a ceremony, and there are people exiting. Quite a number of people exiting the building.
Well, maybe Beepo is a patient kobold
Mhm.
and will spend some time scoping out the area in the safest manner possible and making sure that they can find the dock from this place quickly.
Okay, sounds good. I am going to make one more little roll. Okay. Okay, you have been waiting for a little while outside. Actually, since Sam's away, we'll do Beepo's desecration first, since this is focused just on Beepo. So, are you going? Do you say you're going just straight to the dock and going to wait there for the chapel to be empty? Is that kind of your plan, or?
Yeah, the plan is to, while I'm waiting for the crowd to thin out, Beepo is going to go and just scope out the escape route, and the escape route is into the water and away.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe 20 minutes or so pass. People stop their loitering, and it seems like things have quietened down. The door to the temple is still wide open, by the way. And the occasional person passes in and out, but it's much easier to slip in and out now. Do you want to make me a skulk to get your way inside this building and do a bit of desecrating?
I do. That is a 6 again, a 1 and a 6.
Six rolling monster.
I know. I that my luck is pushed to its limits here.
But these crucial moments when I keep wanting. Describe your desecrating. It succeeds.
Beepo is going to go and find probably not the main altar because Beepo is obviously in enemy territory.
People are looking.
But he's going to go and yeah, but he's going to find one of maybe the if you've been in a Catholic church recently, there's a place where the font where the christenings happen. There's probably some nice little kind of or the christening equivalent fantasy anachronism is going to go and find one of the little holy symbols there and is just going to I can't take it with me, can I? Because it's not invisible.
Yes, you couldn't. I mean, you could try and take it with you if you were quick, but people would see a flying holy symbol. I mean, maybe they wouldn't grab for it. Maybe they'd be more awed by it. Who knows?
Beepo is feeling risk averse and is simply going to is simply going to dress the symbol in the most profane way, the way that all the things it says on how to treat a holy symbol properly. Beepo's just going to very quickly do the exact opposite.
Yeah,
and maybe smear it with a bit of ash or something just to kind of ruin the sun.
I know exactly what Beepo's put it on the floor and done a poop on it.
Do you know what? That's fine.
That's the most desecrating thing Beepo thinks of in the moment, and I feel like fully fulfills Beepo's chaos urge as well. And I know
exactly what's going to happen if I get a mixed or a fail on a skulk now as well.
Well, I was going to give you one more skulk to successfully make your way to the docks. So
yeah, so here we go. That's a double 1.
That's a total fail. Very well. Well, you make it outside of the chapel just fine, and basically you're looking behind you like, yes, and then you just walk straight into a guard by the docks. and you fall over and they fall over, and the invisibility cloak partly comes off of you for a moment. And they're just looking at they can't see your face, but they see like half your leg sort of thing.
Cheese it!
Are you kind of trying to get the invisibility cloak back on and skulk, or are you just legging it into the water?
Yeah, I think at this point, all bets are off. Beepo's just going to swan dive into the water and just try and stay low and quick and swim out of there.
Okay, finesse roll. And no, make your roll first, and then we'll do it. Your trade-off is you can make it to the water if you wish, but you will not take your invisibility cloak with you. Or you can stay and have the invisibility cloak.
Oh, I have no dark hearts. I have one stress left. It's dark and I'm wearing sunglasses. Give me Sam's back now, so give me a minute to think on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we'll,
So Beepo has disappeared inside. Not that you knew that anyway, because he was wearing invisibility cloak. Perhaps you have an inkling that Beepo isn't there anymore. Tereth and Osric and the body snatcher have been waiting for what feels like a good half hour when the gates reopen once again. I'm being really mean, but I would like you to make me one more roll because you didn't know when the gates are going to be opening. You've been kind of hanging around and getting bored. So when the gates open, are you looking particularly monstrous or not? I know it's me being mean, but it's a fair situation. This is not where monsters are supposed to be.
I'm again going to dark heart this because I desperately don't want to fail.
And we'll get a 3 roll for Terrace because it has better stuff. I'm going to make this roll for a change. Terrace got a mixed. 3 mixed dice, but they're all mixed.
I also got a mix.
Okay. You know what? There's been enough mix that I'm ticking this clock. I should check where that clock's at as well. Oh,
a 1 in 6 chance to not
Ooh.
have consequences is just not fair.
Oh, that clock's full as well. You've done quite well. This is tricky GM time.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm gonna kill us all.
The same guy marches out. He's holding. You can clearly see him holding 3 bars of gold, kind of wrapped in an arm like that. And the other arm, he's walking out, is definitely on the hilt of his sword. With him are 2 well-armed soldiers in quite nice, shiny, heavy armor, eyeing you as they march out. They stop a few paces away from you and go, "Good. Here's your gold then. Give her to me." He has not handed you the gold yet.
Can Osric dodge the body snatcher to go over and be like, take her over, get the gold kind of thing?
Yeah, that makes sense. The body snatcher will very awkwardly and kind of like, yeah, I want to make a roll for how like just to get a vibe. Okay, he's shaking. He's actively shaking as he walks up there like. He kind of puts his arm out. He kind of nudges her forward with an elbow and goes and just sniffling, and he doesn't even say any words. This nobleman, he grabs the girl, and then he puts his hand out with the gold, and the body snatcher goes to grab it, but he doesn't relinquish his grip just yet. And he looks at the 2 of you and goes, "Lift your hoods first."
Osric looks to Tereth.
Well, that might not help you in this moment.
God, that was not part of the deal.
There could be a conversation. I mean, this is Tereth's in a head conversation.
I have
You're
no
the
idea what
tiebreaker,
Tereth
John.
is.
What have you got? It better be a very cunning plan.
Do you want to try and just make a roll for something bantery that you can say to be like, oh no, we don't need to raise our hoods? Something like, oh, I have a terrible disease, or oh no, you wouldn't want to see my ugly face, or just it's a hard sell, but something like that. Or is there another action to be taken?
I mean, Osric could try some kind of enchantment, but I feel like that is not a good idea today of all days. To be like,
You
you've
better
seen
hope
our
that's a
faces.
critical success.
Throw me 3 ones. Like, what does Tereth have? What does he do? I need to...
yeah.
He can tell us to stop being stupid. He can tell us we did something wrong in downtime, and he can talk to like creatures.
Mm-hmm.
God, everyone's out of dark arts. Everyone's out of stress. We are running on empty.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just has to roll the dice.
It's not a good gambit, but I think maybe Tereth goes for of course, my lord, if you insist, but I will warn you, the doctors told me that if I take the mask off, it may spread. They say it's very contagious.
Nice.
I like it. I love Osric furiously nodding. Okay. It's going to be a trick, which is only 2 dice.
Damn it.
For Tereth. I don't think there's anything else.
Is Osric assisting with his furious nodding?
Yeah, yes, 100%. But I don't. Yeah, nod fiercely and more like back away from Tereth. Like,
yeah. Do you have anything in trick, Osric?
I think I do. My trick is 2. I think.
Okay. I'm gonna. If you can roll a 6, there will be any aid provided at all.
Seems unlikely, but
this is a hard help. I feel.
That's a 1 and a 2.
No.
Okay, let's try the trick.
And you're going to take a stress for helping.
Who? Tereth. Oh no, Osric. 5.
Keep putting me in these tricky situations.
So,
I mean,
as an option, what can happen is, given we filled just a gazillion of clocks today, you can defer all of the blowback from this until to change the landscape a bit.
Yeah.
We don't do this ever, but what about resisting consequences? Isn't that a thing that we literally never do?
Never do. The thing is, that's usually like injury, to be fair, and I feel like we usually have like narrative consequences as much as anything else. But I guess we could try and resist narrative. Yeah, fair.
I think you're meant to be able to resist them.
Yeah, you could spend a stress. I mean, the consequences here are his suspicion continues, so we should spend a stress to resist from Tereth's side. Tereth can still spend another 2 stress. So.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that.
So
I think we haven't been resisting stuff because we are, as previously stated, a fail forward kind of group. But I think this is one of those cases.
Mm-hmm.
We just need the big successes.
I mean, I've already done the clock ticks as well. So let's just go for a resist. That sounds like a good idea. That also gives us kind of a second chance roll to see.
Okay, remind me how resisting works.
So you spend a stress, and then you roll a stat of your choice that makes logical sense, effectively. And a success means you have resisted total consequences. A critical means you don't spend the stress. A mixed means you have partially resisted the consequences, and a fail means you have not resisted the consequences.
Would a banter be able to go?
Yeah, I think a banter would make sense.
He's sort of filling with, giving off vague platitudes sort of thing. Yeah.
Tereth has an item that is a defense against detection.
You already used it.
Yeah.
I used it in a previous roll on this. Sorry.
Highest is a 4.
So you partially resist the consequences. Okay.
We partially resist the partial consequences
The partial consequences
of the
yeah.
partial success.
You can. He goes, fine. Take the gold, and releases it. And the body snatcher snivels away as fast as he can back towards you. But what are your names? I want to know your names before you go. I'd like to see you again. And I want one more banter roll from Terrace to come up with convincing names on the spot.
Hugh Mannington. This is my friend Harry Normalman.
I'm going to roll. I'm not letting Sam do this.
No, it doesn't sound like
Thank
that.
God.
My God, it's a 4 again.
I hate you.
Maybe his name is Hugh Mannington.
Okay,
No.
Tereth is taking a shock to the brains for all of this mental stress. But succeeds at coming up with names. I've just got all the bad consequences noted down here for Tereth, poor Steve.
I'm gonna say he gives his name as Jory, but we're gonna ask Steve after the fact, and if it's wrong, we'll just sort of dub his voiceover in ADR saying the correct name. We won't do that.
I love it. And with the glowering ire of this lesser nobleman, you quickly make your way off with your prize, glinting, probably immediately snatched out of the hands of the body snatcher. Tereth's probably feeling quite possessed with this gold. I think it's safe to say on the way back. And you make your way quickly back into the forest, disappearing from sight. With, it's fair to say, quite the sigh of relief. And tear up for the dungeon. Congratulations. That felt difficult.
Hooray. I have my strategy for escaping as well.
Excellent. Yes, sorry, we kind of skipped over that, but I'm happy. Is there a role you'd like to make now, or is it kind of a next session thing?
We can do it now. It's pretty quick. So I'm going to spend my last stress to also resist the consequences. And the mechanism by which I'm going to do is Beepo's been caught pants down or cloak down, I suppose, and is going to just kind of, in a flash of inspiration, will roll with it and will kind of drop their hood at the guard and snarl at them very threateningly.
That sounds good. Resist away. Threaten.
One more for the night. Yes, he's done it.
That's a 6. So you succeed at resisting the consequences. You peel away, twisting the cloak underneath you as they reel back in panic. And within moments, you and the cloak had leapt into the water. And you slip to join the rest of the party and celebrate, as we will do next session. Congratulations, folks. Well done. That was real dangerous there. I rolled and you got a 1 on your engagement, which is why you were surrounded by knights.
But yeah, that's what facilitated us finishing it off. It's great how we can just kind of pivot the situation like that.
Yeah, it is great. It's funny because it was one of those high risk, high reward situations. You could immediately sell it, but basically you were super under suspicion, and I kept on making you roll to be like, are they going to detect if you're monsters? And one of those would have been swords drawn. So
I do feel like it probably is going to have far-reaching consequences for us because some clock got filled, and I don't feel like that was a good clock for us.
No such thing as a good clock.
It's totally not going to add up to the other clock that's already been filled or anything. I can't imagine what would be bad about these two things.
We are bored of knights at our dungeon. So.
Surely we'll just be able to fight them off with our 3 bricks of gold.
Love it. Now, XP. I should remember XP because I always forget this. So, I know I have... actually noted it down. Yes, good. So, did you succeed at pushing forward your agenda? Well, you upgraded the tier of the dungeon. I think that's safe to say. So, yeah. And then we've got our questions. What's the next one? You jumped into someone else's dungeon scene. We didn't really have dungeon scenes, so acted like a monster. Make cases for acting like a monster, folks.
Well,
I
spent
would
that session
like
acting
to-
like not monsters.
I would like to propose. I think Beepo's moment of deciding not to kill the guard, but to go and really bully the last remaining crew member was my little. Yeah, Beepo's having a pantomime moment. Beepo's having a really evil moment.
With the purple flames and everything, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I think go ahead. I love how Beepo is kind of terrifying monstrous, but not like murderous monstrous. Like, you don't really like killing that much. It's more just like spreading horror.
I think Beepo has moods. There's definitely kind of gremlin mode situations, but I think tonight was definitely a wizard's situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyone got another case for monstrous? I feel like you must have some cases here, John.
I did chase after a fleeing man.
Yeah, that's true. That was such a good, like, badass backflip drown moment. I love that description. It was so horrific. Yeah, that's definitely monstrous. You get your tick.
I don't know if this counts as object, but I suppose having a zombie eat a man alive is pretty monstrous.
Yeah.
Feels pretty monstrous to me. I mean, I think it's part of your, narrative environment, isn't it? And you did specifically describe as being eaten alive, so yeah, go for it.
Thank you.
I think also the mind confusion on the captive was pretty monstrous.
That is bad. Having someone like betray their own family people in that way, pretty bad.
You were constantly running. Oh, it just made me think how close you were running to disaster with every single one of them. Like that, if that had been a total fail, she would have done the exact opposite and immediately confessed what had actually happened to her.
I rolled so badly today. Like I rolled 1-6 on. I rolled so many dice. A lot of those rolls I had like 3, sometimes even 4 dice, and I still rolled 1-6 in the whole session. Like, not good rolling. Hopefully,
you just need to practice rolling your dice better.
No, it was grand. You passed all of your good luck on to me. I was absolutely on fire tonight for no reason.
You did very good.
Definitely had Chris roll all the Tereth rolls. That was a big mistake.
Okay, and next question is: did you use your gear or supply in creative ways? Who was it who had the creative thing? Or was it you, Chris?
Yeah, I did my nice little not exploding, fireworks mushrooms.
Mushrooms, that was the thing I thought was very clever. Yes, I enjoyed that. Absolutely get a point for that one. Burning mushrooms. Are there any other... I can't remember any other specific things. I feel like, John, you tried to have your moment using Kit cleverly, and then it just didn't really happen, did it?
Yeah, no. Maybe next time when we're not playing about in the water.
Maybe. Cool. And I don't think no one got... remember, you did your practice XP yourselves, and I don't think anyone got any injuries, which is my surprise, actually. Yeah, good stuff. And I think that is us. Cool. So, thank you very much for joining, folks. Are there any questions or comments or things to read out, John?
Oh, let me see.
Yeah. I had some interesting statements at the beginning of the session. I feel like my brain takes a little while to settle into a session, and the first 20 minutes or so are just a little mental.
You definitely need a little bit of a time to wind up to it. I think Matt arrives unhinged to his sessions, but you kind of gain momentum.
So the first part just starts strange.
I don't think you're wrong. All of the witches I can think of do have a lot of pockets.
Oh, it's not incorrect. It's just
it's factually correct.
I don't know why I was coming up with this statement anymore.
I completely agree with it. I just think the confidence with which you said it was like, yeah, like that's just an actual fact. I don't know where you've plucked this from, but 100%, definitely.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, it was a moment where I was thinking, would witches have pockets? And then I was reassuring myself that, yeah, they would. They would have loads of pockets.
Of
Yeah.
But the
course,
thing is,
I
when you were
forgot
talking,
that
you
was
weren't even talking about real pockets. You were talking about gnomes spreading their influence, gnomes with their fingers and witches' pocket. Do witches have pockets? Doesn't matter. It's a metaphor. I love it.
Yeah, you're right. That wasn't. I don't understand my brain sometimes. I'm happy though.
I'm happy with it.
Okay, that's okay then. Yeah, damn. Slee is so lethal in the water in this game. Like, you've killed more in the water by far than anywhere else, haven't you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
There was a session in like the harbor as well where you killed loads of people.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
And the first session with the boat, I remember you drowning as well. You've done a lot of drowning in this story. Drowny Slee. We need to come up with you like Slee needs to have like a motif which is about drowning or something.
Yeah, Drowny Slee. You just nailed it from the get-go there. Drowny
I
Slee.
wasn't serious with that one.
Oh no, that's it. It's sorted. Ship it.
Okay.
Quite literally ship it because water puns.
Ah,
Oh gosh. I know
I
Steve
wa-
was watching for at least some of this session, if not
Yes.
now. And if you are still here, Steve, I hope we didn't mess with Terrence too much. I feel bad having thrown Terrence into that situation.
I promised that he would survive, and he did.
He did survive, it's
So-
true. He did very well, to be fair. I mean, you wouldn't have been anywhere without Terrence in that, so. Cool. That was a fun session. Do we have anything else to read out and stuff then, John? Yeah, we do start with Steve. Yeah, I know. Oh, that was, to be honest, I feel like Steve was probably there watching the barrel like, I'm glad I'm not in this session. Oh gosh. I was so ready to just kill you all in that scene. Like all the time. And it was just I was like, there's a good chance this session is just gonna end with or like at least Slee sitting there in the cops, like, no, I'm not getting involved in that, watching like Osric and Terrace just be like flattened by charging knights.
The Slee and Beepo buddy comedy for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, you can replace characters. I wasn't going to shy back from it, and you were doing an insanely dangerous thing. So,
but it worked.
It did. It worked. You managed to get at least a mix on every single "Are you a monster?" roll.
Yeah, but also so many clocks. So many clocks.
There have been some clocks. It's safe to say, no matter what your role is for your blowback, there's going to be some blowback. We'll see what exactly happens, but
I have to say, with the benefit of hindsight, I do love the absolute panic on all the players when you're like, take your hoods down, and we were all like, oh shit. Like...
That was part of the clock that I was actually ticking, was basically a you need to identify yourselves now clock. Which has kind of continued in something else. But yeah, I was like, no, can't be secret, must show faces. Which is oh god.
That was the most like frozen by fear I've been in a role-playing game in a while. Where I'm just like, what can we do here? Like what?
There is literally no option. Yeah, that was a good moment. I enjoyed that. Cool. I think we'll finish there, folks. So thank you very much for joining us. We are Telling Tales. Check out our other stuff on YouTube. Next will be this Sunday at 3 p.m. We will be streaming our one-shot of Troika, doing our little zine we've created. It's the soft. So come check it out. It should be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks, I think, on Thursday. Warhammer on Monday next week. Blade Runner on Wednesday, I believe. And that is us for now. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.